Customer testing is definitely a very important part of the Minotaur project. So especially when you have a new product like this where you're going into this new market, is trying to make sure that we get the most use cases, the different applications, customer job sites, customer feedback is all very important, because it's one thing to have a clinic and bring people in and you learn a lot of things during a clinic. As the customer gets this machine in their home environment, their application, what we're learning is kind of that second level of detail. So that's where not only are you getting a little better depth of information, a little more from the customer because they're doing it in their home site, you're also getting better variety with that information because you have a customer in Colorado or a customer in Illinois or South Carolina or Texas or any of these other places to get different feedback. One of the things we've learned from the clinic and going into the customer testing has been with the size of the bucket of the machine. We sent out to the clinic with our biggest current bucket and the feedback was, make it bigger, this machine can handle it. So we made it bigger. Sent that out to customers and the customer feedback was, make it bigger, it can still handle it. And it's also with Minotaur, because it's that dozing part of it, is soil conditions have really changed things. So what was good of a setup in the Arizona sand at the clinic is not the same setup that we want to have in South Carolina or Wisconsin. So that variety has been pretty eye-opening, at least to me, to see how much that's going to impact. And that makes a huge impact on the design changes that we're making. Our validation group is working closely with those customers, talking to them on a frequent basis to make sure that whatever feedback they have, we're gathering and sending that back to the design team. And in some cases, we're making design changes. That's the purpose of doing customer testing, is to get feedback and decide that, well, based on this application, we really need to change this feature in this way. And so it's trying to take that back to the engineering team. The engineering team is going and digesting that, making changes. And then there's also kind of a loop back through with the customer. We've actually had a couple instances where customer gave some comments at the beginning of their test cycle. We were able to get their feedback, make some changes. That ability to be able to take the information, process it, digest it, understand it, make some tweaks, and even get those tweaks back to the customer, that same customer, and say, okay, you brought this comment up a few weeks ago, here, let's put this on the machine and make this change and see what they have to do. And then that, of course, leads into the full design. So the entire design process is an iterative process. You are constantly refining. Customer test is just one of the ways that we are getting feedback. We're also doing our own internal testing. We're doing our work with our manufacturing folks to make sure that we are understanding and making the best machine for them. And so all of those feedback into design changes. And so we kind of talk about doing iterations of design. The feedback from the customers from the field, that's feeding into this next round of machines that we're building, so that we make sure that as manufacturing is seeing the machine and as we are getting ready for the next step in the process, that we have the most up-to-date, best machine that we can.